Today we are going to study a poem from class 10th English textbook Tulip series, book 10. And the title of the poem is An Evening Wet with Rain, written by Ved Paul Deep. We are going to study this poem in following steps. Introduction to the poet and the poem, brief summary of the poem, stanza-wise explanation, discussion of techniques used in the poem, and assessment. So the step first is introduction. Dear students, this is long but beautiful poem conceived and composed by a Dogri poet, Ved Paul Deep, belonging to Jammu region of J&K. It was written originally in Dogri language and translated from Dogri to English by another eminent poet called Shivnath. In this poem, you will find that the use of language and techniques has been done so beautifully and intricately, and the word selection and expressions is quite extraordinary, thereby intensifying the emotions and involves the reader so perfectly that one could experience the emotions of the poet and could see through his mind's eye. Now moving towards the step second, which is brief summary of the poem. Dear students, the poet recalls a particular evening wet with rain. The poet is walking down the lane and everything is wet. The poet is gloomy and alone. He had lost all his hope in the evening of his life. He didn't know whether he should stop walking or keep going in the rain and wafting with the wind. This dilemma reflects his desperate mental condition. Water was seeping through his shoes. He was feeling heavy in his eyes. It could be due to sleep or fever, which he couldn't guess. The atmosphere around was silent perfectly. Now, the childhood memories began to flood the poet's mind. He began to remind various things of his past, the gone by days. He regrets that the days gone by do not return or can never be recalled. So the only thing the poet can aspire for is to sleep in the lap of night, which in other words means death. He wants to bid goodbye to this world and shake hands of death. The poet has no hope or desire left within him, as he sees the light of an earthen lamp in the wayside modest inn. He is in no hurry to reach there and seek shelter. He is familiar about the fact that his time is over and his days are numbered now. And ultimately he has left himself to his fate. Now moving to next step, that is stanza-wise explanation. Stanza first. An evening wet with rain, as I walk through the lane, the heart beckons the hands to hold them with love. The mind also knows subtle signals of the breeze. Should I stand on the ground or walk in the wind? Dear students, in this stanza, the poet recalls a particular evening when it was raining and he was walking through a lane. He was feeling so alone and desperate that his heart was aspiring to be held by some loving hand so affectionately. His mind couldn't think anything except feeling the light breeze, the gently moving air. This shows that the poet's heart and mind had grown weak and fragile. Now he was in dilemma whether he should stop walking or keep going, wafting and swaying with the wind. Windows, doors, awnings of the houses are wet. Cool breezes stir the leaves of the yonder banyan tree. The collar of my coat is also wet with drops of rain. All around reigns silence. In this stanza, the extensive use of imagery and symbolism makes a reader see through poet's eye. The windows, doors, awnings of the houses, all wet with rain. At a distance there is a banyan tree whose leaves are stirring by cool breeze. The collar of poet's coat is also wet because of the rain. The atmosphere around is sad and serious. It is perfectly silent all around. My feet are cold with water seeping through my shoes. My eyes are heavy with sleep or is it fear? The ground is very slippery, there is no place to stand. The mind is exhausted, looks for some spot to rest. In this stanza, we come to know that the poet is feeling cold in his feet. Water is seeping through his shoes. He is feeling heavy in his eyes. It could be due to sleep or fear, but he can't guess it. The ground has become slippery. There is no place to stand and save oneself from the rain. The poet feels exhausted in his mind. He looks for some place where he can sit and have some rest. Actually, the poet has now grown old and weak, which makes him feel so cold. And the poet has lost the hope, particularly, which makes him tired. It is only hope that keeps one going in one's life. If there is no hope, the very desire to live ends. Such a person naturally feels tired and exhausted. That's what happened in the case of the poet also.